Kia ora and welcome to Cinema in Context, where we discuss all things film and the connections between. My name is Jeremy Downing.
I'm William Chen.
And I'm Sarah Watt.
And each month at Cinema in Context, we discuss two films, one current and one retrospective with some connection. It could be the same director, the same actor, or a similar theme. However, as is tradition at Cinema in Context, when it comes to December, we like to discuss the year that has been. And we've done this in a few different ways over the years, but usually there are our greatest films, our best TV, and we chuck a few different things in the mix. So this year we're going to be discussing our biggest surprise, our biggest disappointment, a classic revisited. So that could be a film that we've watched for the first time that's from years gone by, or maybe something that we've rediscovered after a period of not seeing it. Best TV and best film, those will be in there with our runner-ups kind of in the mix. I guess anything to say before we jump into our top picks?
How will we deal with spoilers?
Ooh, good question. I think just be spoiler-free as much as you can.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of people use these episodes to go, I should catch up on blah and blah.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll try to be a bit careful.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah? Mm.
And of course, this is always the most exuberant, the most fun episode to record every single year. I look forward to this one always.
It's also one of our most listened to ones. I can tell we're excited. We keep talking over top of each other. So,
but also it's good that you enjoy this one, William. Given that you're so like low key in all of the other episodes, and you're clearly just there to make up numbers.
Oh my
so
god!
Thank
I'm the
you for coming back.
of the podcast.
that's a property that hasn't had any films for a long time.
Oh, be careful what you wish for.
Live action reboot.
Yeah. Like Winnie the Pooh, the action.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh in the real world.
Yeah.
Oh god!
That'd be...
Now he's in New York. Oh my god!
And you know that they'd flip it so that he becomes the Eeyore and Eeyore becomes kind of like finds his people.
Guys, this is really good IP. We should do this offline.
All right, let's kick into it. Who would like to start with their biggest surprise of 2025?
Okay, I shall. This may be a surprise, this may be not. It's really tough to put the biggest movie of the year as my surprise. Like, surprise, guys. But listeners, watchers, you guys would know that oftentimes I love sneaking in little Chinese movies and little animated movies. And this year, I'm going to combine the two with a Chinese animated movie. It's, of course, Naojia 2. A movie that made $2 billion. $2 billion! And then some. And it's taken especially the Chinese-speaking world by storm, the diaspora. And it is a movie, I think, like none other. Have you guys seen it?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Okay. It is, oh gosh, where to start with this? So it is it's a sequel to Naojia back in 2019. It's based off a 16th century fantasy novel called Investiture of the Gods, which is one of those Chinese tomes like Journey to the West, where so much of pop culture has just taken from this stuff, right? So this is kind of, in a Western lens, kind of if Pilgrim's Progress was more like Lord of the Rings, right? And then you add a lot of Norse stuff in there. So all the squabbles and politics of Norse or of Grecian, mythology, except with Chinese, shall we say, sensibilities, bureaucracies, and these are the levels of the gods and that kind of thing. And so what happens is you have a little character, Naojia, who's a little demon, half demon child, and he's trying to grow up. He's trying to be a good kid, but his demon side is always getting him into trouble because he's such a little stinker. And then, shall we say, doo-doo goes down, and there's dragons, there's gods, there's massive battles. And I think what really draws Naojia 2 to a much higher plane of existence, to kind of use the movie's lingo, compared to any other animated movie really, is the friggin' scale of this thing. I think the last time I felt something like this going to the movies was watching Fellowship of the Ring at the very beginning with the prologue and the battle and Elrond, and it's like they took the lessons learned from that and expanded it tenfold. I've never seen something as grand on screen as this. The story is Byzantine. There's a million characters, as it is in Asian cinema. Oftentimes when a new character appears, his or her name pops up in the corner, and it's like, gosh, this is like the 20th name. I can't keep track.
Yeah. Tell me about the animation. What would it be similar to in a film that I've seen?
Oh, good question. It is, I mean, the character designs are all over the place. Some of them look like Pixar characters. Some of them look like Japanese anime. It's heavily anime influenced. A lot of it looks like a video game. And altogether, it looks like a very, very expensive cutscene, whether it's from a video game or from an advert. Colors are flying at you at all times. There's literally armies of billions. So much so that the little individual soldiers look like grains of sand. And I know that turns off some people because of inherent phobias. But I think, beyond...
Does it look like when you... Because I'm thinking, is it a hodgepodge of styles or is it like Spider-Verse where it works?
I think it's more like Spider-Verse.
Wow.
Like, all together, it fits together in the story it's trying to tell.
Yeah.
And I think what is fascinating is that this movie has just resonated with the Chinese diaspora, right? It's...
All ages.
All ages. I went to see it in a packed house in Newmarket, Westfield. I went to see it because one of my students was like, "So you have to see this on the big screen." I usually watch things on planes, so I think...
Or laptops. So
Or
obviously your
laptops.
student knows you well.
Yes. And I was very happy I did because the experience of seeing it is incredible.
And that's why it was a surprise, because you just
Yes.
didn't expect it to be that resonant.
That's right. I know the book. I haven't read it in eons. And they obviously take massive liberties. The book is very... I mean, there's goodies and baddies. It's like... It's mythology, right?
Yeah.
Whereas there's a lot of anime tied in there. Norja and his buddy Albing have to go through like 3 trials in order for him to regain his immortality. And each trial's a little goofy, but there's some conspiracy. And it's a lot of plot. It's a lot of characters. But by the end of it, you're left not feeling exhausted, but feeling like, oh my goodness, that was... I don't quite understand that, but that was exhilarating. I am not surprised that this would hit a chord in the biggest way possible, and yet for it to make, again, $2 billion at the global box office based mainly in one market is crazy. Yeah, so that is Norja 2.
Nice. Sarah, what's your biggest surprise of 2025?
I am going to give a shout out to the great Pamela Anderson. Now, I have to preface this by saying, the last Showgirl, when I say it was my biggest surprise, it wasn't that I thought it was going to be terrible, but I never expected it to be quite as splendid as it was. So for those of you who don't know, soon-to-be Dame Pamela Anderson, no, she's not, but our Pam obviously comes from a background of playing characters that aren't that dissimilar to somebody who is a veteran dancer in a club called the Razzle Dazzle or Le Razzle Dazzle in Vegas. And so in a way, Pamela has done this incredibly canny thing. And for her sort of big return to acting, taken a gritty, dramatic role in an arena with which she is associated, which she is frickin' amazing in. And the thing that was so great about it isn't obviously that I'm looking and going, yeah, she looks amazing, she's perfect as a stripper, but more that I'm going, good Lord, the layers of the character, we all saw it, right? Because
We did an episode on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, what a joy to watch. Do you know, actually I do. I think for me, what a joy to watch Pamela Anderson being the great actress that she always wanted to be.
Nice.
And I'd watched the documentary. Is it called Dear Pamela or something? It was very touching.
Yeah.
And we had rewatched Barbed Wire, obviously,
Which is getting a television series.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
but
Excited.
not with her in it.
No, but she's producing.
Right.
And I think her son is producing as well. Yeah.
And I thought, Gia Coppola, who's what, the granddaughter or grandniece of Francis Ford Coppola, does a terrific job with the direction of the film. I know that there are too many lens flares and the lighting is all a bit sort of... I thought the lighting was fabulous, actually, for that sort of harsh desert morning light and whatnot. But anyway, the other revelation in it, of course, is... the big fella from...
Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista, who I never had any time for. You know how I feel about those silly Guardians of the Galaxy movies and things like that.
Oh, and are they ever silly?
Oh, so silly.
He was good I thought he was really good in Blade Runner 2049. He had a little part at the start.
He did, but I'd forgotten that because that feels like a lifetime ago. And I just thought he was tremendous in Last Showgirl. I loved the nuance and the is it real, is it not real? I just thought it was fabulous.
Yeah.
And I thought she was fabulous. And I thought the whole drama and the grippingness of it was I mean, it's such a low-key film, right? It's basically a story about a single mom. So yeah, I would.
And is it Carrie Fisher's daughter? What's her name?
Billy Lord. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
she's in it as well.
yeah, she's very, very good in it. So yes, as I say, just repeating myself. It's not that I thought it was going to be terrible, but I didn't imagine how amazing it was going to be, and I'm so pleased for her. And I, in my review, mentioned good old Demi Moore's similar kind of. Reincarnation into greatness, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Pamela will be Oscar nommed and all that sort of thing for such things, but it shows what she's capable of, and so loved it.
Nice,
Awesome.
My biggest surprise of the year is another film that we did a podcast on this year, and that is Final Destination: Bloodlines.
I thought that was going to end up in your top 3.
Well, watch this space, William.
Okay.
I had such a good time with this film, as you know, and I'd never seen a Final Destination film. I watched all 5 previous ones over a 2
night, didn't you?
I did 3 on one night,
Holy cold.
2 on the next night, and then the final on the...
That's the amount of work we put into these podcasts,
that's
listeners.
true.
Just so you know, we don't just rock up and go, oh yeah, let's make it up as we go.
So I had such a good time in Bloodlines. It is, those films, they really are. You don't know what you're getting into with each of them because the quality is like a...
Yes.
It's like a, I don't know...
Almost as if they were Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
You get a good one and a terrible one. Yeah. But that latest film is just so much fun, and the love that those filmmakers put into it. I love the story about how they got the job, which was they filmed a Zoom call where one of them ends up getting decapitated, and they sort of had it in the background as a fake background and left the screen at a certain point, but then re-emerged in the film pre-recorded video. It's a great time. I rewatched it the other day, sort of in preparation for this episode to figure out where it fell, and still was just so much fun. And the amount of practical effects that they used is glorious. The sense of humor through the whole film, right to the very last kill, is just glorious. And it's actually scary, and it's one of the first times that a Final Destination film has tension.
Yes.
Because the other ones, they just, they're going to die and then they die. But the ice and the glass and the ice, the rake under the trampoline.
This one subverts expectations.
The glass cracking in the sky tower.
Yeah.
There's just moment after moment.
The dude, the tattoo artist who just will not die.
The walking into the rotating door.
All the things.
Yeah. So really, really good.
I was on a plane just last weekend, and I thought, I'll give Bloodlines another go. You know how it says on planes, there is gruesome content in here. Please be aware of children watching. And I was like, I don't care. Actually, there weren't kids directly behind me, so it was fine. So I did start watching it on a plane, William, in your honour. But it's a good time, and I will be going back to rewatch the whole thing.
I wonder if they could play the original
Final Destination 1 on a plane.
It's on a plane, right?
And they don't
it's like
actually.
40x. Whoa!
No, do you know what? I think they purposely. I don't know where I get these things from. I could be making it up, but I think it's true. They purposely don't play films like Flight, for example, on aeroplanes.
Yeah.
So
it's like that clip in Airplane or Flying High where they're all terrified and he has to go, just watch your movie, and then they're watching plane crashes.
Oh yeah. So no, they definitely don't show certain things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, should we talk about our biggest disappointment? I'm going to pass it back to you, Sarah. So what's been your biggest disappointment of this year?
Well, probably, there are films that I gave fewer stars to, but I guess that's not entirely the question.
Well, that's the thing we like, because we used to do worst film, but it's more interesting, I think.
Yeah, not as fun.
Something that
because
we looked forward to and it didn't meet expectations.
And some films are terrible, and we thought they would be terrible.
Yeah.
And so I think you're right. I think that the low expectations thing. I would have to say, for example, listeners, I gave Snow White 1 star, but I couldn't have cared less, and it deserved 1 star. So that was not my biggest disappointment.
Even that.
I would say my biggest disappointment that I can think of right now is After the Hunt.
Oh.
Now, that's recently on, I want to say Netflix, could be Disney, could be Prime. Actually, it could be Prime, not sure. I had to review it, so I had the indignity of having to sign up again to Prime Video in order to do
Who's in
that.
that again? I forget
Julia
Julia
Roberts.
Roberts.
Yes,
And Ayo Edebiri.
she's just been nominated for a Golden Globe for that.
Well, let's talk about it. So, this is what Auntie Sarah says. So, Andrew Garfield's in it, and he is amazing. Julia Roberts is in it, and she's pretty great. Ayo Edebiri is in it. She is... Look, I don't want to go Quentin Tarantino on her, but she's quite annoying.
I don't care for that Matthew Lillard.
Oh my gosh. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but oh my gosh. And Paul Dano, who's literally...
Yeah.
Who he's... So I've been... Okay, we'll talk about it now. So for those who don't know, Quentin's
Because I don't actually know. I just seen other people talking
Quentin
about it.
came out. Quentin was talking to Bret Easton Ellis of all misanthropic people
Yeah.
on Bret's podcast about his films of the year and his films of forever. And he talks about
There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood, and obviously praises Daniel Day-Lewis. But then he slams Paul Dano and says, "Worst actor ever. I have no time for him at all. He is the weak sister,
The weeks.
and a limp dick." And he doesn't quite call him a chinless wander, because that's, I think, British, and that's what my mother would say. But Paul Dano literally is chinless. And I was looking at Quentin's profile. Quentin has a very, very severe chin. I'm just saying. But anyway, I don't want to be all mean to... who am I even talking about?
Ayo Edebiri.
Oh, yeah, but Ayo Edebiri is in a lot of things lately. And she was also in Ella McKay, which I saw the other day, and is a dreadful film. And she plays these bit parts sometimes, and she plays them exactly like the character from The Bear and da-di-da. Listen, my problems with After the Hunt are many. It's a Luca Guadagnino film. Luca Guadagnino. So, Luca...
Antonio Margaretti.
Luca, sometimes Luca, he's gonna make beautiful films. Like Call Me By Your Name was a beautiful film until we knew that Armie Hammer was
eating
a
people.
really distasteful and not just peaches. So it was a yucky, but anyway, what do I dislike about After the Hunt?
We love challenges, right? That's
That's
great.
thank you for reminding me. Challenges was fantastic. But I do have a bit of an issue with Luca. Didn't he make The Room Next Door? I think he did, which I hated earlier this year. Which was, again, Tilda Swinton, Julianne Moore. Absolutely appalling film. Anyway, forgive me, listeners, if I got all mixed up on that one. But anyway, oh no, hang on. No, that was someone else. Forget it. Point being...
He's been pretty prolific if he's made that many movies
No,
in the last couple
you're
of
right.
years.
No, that was that other dude. Pedro Almodovar.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
but we're not here to slag off Pedro because After the Hunt. Okay, so Julia Roberts plays a college professor, philosophy professor. There's a whole lot of really pretentious philosophizing because they have a drinks party at their house and the young people come and everybody talks philosophy, and it just sounds like scripted discussions of intellectual people talking about philosophy. And then there's a sexual assault, and then there are allegations, and then it becomes a case of who do we believe and who's telling the truth. And dear old Julia's philosophy professor is in the middle of it all. It's just really boring, really turgid. The characterization is awful. And yet, Andrew Garfield, who plays the accused, is a sort of a womanizing, drinking kind of professor, and he's absolutely marvelous and layered and wonderful, even in films of hysteria. And Julia is still lovely and quite good. So you're saying that she's been nominated for a Golden Globe?
I'm pretty
for
sure
it.
I saw that. Yeah, it just got announced today.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, how behind am I? It's because I'm here talking to you and not looking at the Golden Globe nominations. And look, she's lovely. So I don't actually have an issue with her, but the whole film, the script, the characterization, the story, and then it just goes ridiculous at the end. And it's just... So my many arguments against the film were, what is the point that Luca's making? And I don't think it's just, we don't know the truth. He alludes to Woody Allen in the film in a very blatant way, because right at the very beginning, he styles the opening credits with Woody Allen's font, the white on the black. He starts it with a little title that says, "It happened at Yale," starting with a lowercase I, and I don't understand why that is, but that's just my issue. And then he does the titles exactly like Woody. So then we go, oh, interesting. Is this sympathetic to Woody's sort of sexual abuse allegations and the whole "we don't know"? Or is he just drawing an allusion to it? I don't know. Some would say, make up your own mind, Sarah, about what you think's happening. And do you know what?
No, but you want to... I get this, because you want to... It takes you out of the film, because you're not confident in the filmmaker's...
confidence in what he's saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Lack of awareness of bias.
Exactly.
Or is he close with Woody Allen? Or, and you don't want to be complicit in someone else's...
It's just awkward. There are too many questions raised. That's exactly right.
This is exactly my issue with Poor Things and Begonia.
Right.
This is the same thing for me. I don't feel safe in Yorgos Lanthimos' hands.
In lauding the film, LAUD, because of the content and the treatment of the women in it. Yeah.
And I don't know his track record enough or what's going on behind the scenes or, And
I would say misanthropy with a capital M for dear old Yorgos Lanthimos. And I like his films. I think they're all very clever, but none of them are happy films.
Yeah.
Singing of a Sacred Deer or whatever and...
Singing. That's the musical version.
No, but there's a singing scene in it that's excruciating.
Yeah.
But, Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Lobster and all that, they're all very, very clever and...
I mean, I think what The Favourite does do is that it has a number of female characters.
Yes.
So that for me instantly makes it more palatable in terms of what this film is playing with. But Poor Things is like another story.
And that's fine too. But then, of course, even in The Favourite, you've got the dear queen who's lost so many children and is borderline insane and kind of, and I'm not suggesting he's being misogynistic. I don't mean that. But anyway, long-winded way of saying after the hunt... boring, wrong, it's not miscast, but it is miswritten. And I just don't even. So there we go.
Nice. Sarah, I just don't even 2025.
That's right.
William, what has been your biggest disappointment of this year?
Oh boy. Going back to, worse movies. There's been some real stinkers this year.
Emilia Perez?
Oh, was that this year or last year?
Well, it came out for us this year.
Penis to vagina.
Yeah.
So, I don't even want to give these any auction, but I really, really dislike these movies. This is just throwing them out there. 2 action sequels. Have you guys seen Den of Thieves 2 Pantera?
No, I missed it.
I haven't even seen Den of Thieves 1.
Den of Thieves 1 is pretty good.
Okay.
Den of Thieves 2 is like, that bit in the Poochie episode of The Simpsons where Poochie is the new character introduced and Itchy and Scratchy are going to the fireworks factory and they just keep talking and never get to the fireworks factory, and Milhouse starts crying at the screen going, when are they going to get to the fireworks factory?
Right.
So that's Den of Thieves 2 Pantera.
Right.
It's a heist movie where the heist is like 2 hours in, and by that time I'm like, movie. And the other one, Accountant 2 with Ben Affleck, and he's like a autistic idiot savant with like, and that's a superpower, and he kills guys real good. It's real bad. And his brother's played by
John Bernthal.
John Bernthal, who's just the crazy guy. I'm the wild card.
But I love you. We'll always be bro. Yeah. And then you've got Ben Affleck, who's like, I don't want to hug you because I have... They never use the word autism either.
Don't.
Because there is a delightful phrase they use, and it's not exactly special conditions, but there is a phrase they use. I thought it was fun, and you should totally watch it.
It's redonkulous. They, like Professor Xavier, Ben Affleck has hired a whole school of young people who are also autistic, and they're like his guy in the chair. They go through all the data and it's like, Ben, we found the culprit on camera B. We're gonna hack into the government.
It is. It's like an X-Men of like
autistic people.
Yeah, autistic kids.
What's it called?
It's called The Accountant 2.
It'll be on Netflix or something. You must watch Accountant 1 first.
Accountant 1's not bad.
Great.
Yeah,
it's someone just doing someone's taxes.
But it's because you see, he's an accountant by day and a hired assassin by night.
Oh, right.
And it's great. So you should
Does he
totally...
claim back on his guns?
He probably
Of
does.
course he does.
But anyway, that is a long way of saying that my biggest disappointment of the year is neither of these two movies. This one might be a little bit contentious. I apologize beforehand, dear co-hosts and listeners. But my biggest disappointment came at the start of the year, and it was actually Ryan Coogler's Sinners.
I almost picked this as my biggest disappointment. So
okay.
we're in agreement here.
Wow.
I know people love this movie, and you know the Critics Awards are coming out, and the Golden Globes were just announced, and people are showering praise on Sinners. And to me, maybe it's just one of those movies like I didn't get it right. I can see what it was doing, but I really felt that the payoff did not match the build-up, because it's one solid half movie of build-up, and build-up's really, really strong.
Yeah.
Right? Oh gosh, what's happening?
Yeah, it was the greatest film I'd seen in ages until it wasn't.
Right. I can kind of go along with that. Yeah, the acting is great. Delroy Lindo, career best performance.
I
He's always
agree,
good.
because you know that I don't like Delroy, and I loved him in this. Yeah.
See, I thought Michael B. Jordan playing the dual
Right.
roles was incredible.
Yes.
And he's been
Yeah.
nominated for a Golden Globe for acting, and I think rightfully so. Because
Yes,
And
it should be.
it's two
seamless.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
When one of the Stack Bros passes a cigarette to the other guy,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, how
Yeah.
did they do
It's
that?
like Gandalf passing his hat to Bilbo.
Yeah.
And-
But yeah, just it comes to a point where they're building up to this big party, and not to spoil anything for people who haven't seen it, but the movie kind of goes off the rails, intentionally.
I know exactly
so.
what scene you're talking about.
And I've read reviews, I've listened to podcasts saying like this is an expression of the power of music. And I was just sitting there laughing my butt off. I could not believe what I was seeing.
See, that was the bit that I absolutely adored.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And I was like, one day someone will put this bit on YouTube, and I'll just sit there on a big telly and watch
fascinating.
it. Yeah.
I was right in the middle. I was
Okay.
like, I can appreciate this, and also this is so silly.
Well, you guys know I love camp. I love crazy things. I love things that are just goofy for goofy's sake. And for some reason, this just didn't
Well, no, this
work
isn't
for me.
goofy for goofy's sake. That's why.
Oh, okay. Maybe,
know what I mean?
that's why, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it
isn't-
was trying to be earnest.
This
and was
isn't
trying
taking
to be...
the mickey.
Yeah, okay.
So,
It reminded me of a Wachowski's film, when they have those
yes,
dance,
yes.
like in Matrix Reloaded, and
Yeah.
they're like partying in Zion whilst Trinity
But why
and
doesn't it feel
Neo
like Baz
are-
Luhrmann? We all like Baz Luhrmann scenes. This sort of thing happens in Romeo and
I
Juliet.
guess Baz
It
Luhrmann
happens
has more
in-
of a sense of humour about his movies.
Maybe,
Are you saying
maybe
that
that's...
Ryan? Are you
Go ahead.
saying that Ryan Coogler isn't laughing every time? No, I'm joking.
But maybe that's it. Maybe
Yeah.
it is too earnest, and because of that, I'm not feeling like the filmmakers are in on the joke, because
Yeah.
to me it was just so silly and kind of stupid.
Wow.
And then from that point onwards, I think the movie just lost me. Unfortunately, the payoff to all the build up and all the action that happens felt like it was copying a lot of way better vampire.
Yeah,
movies.
and I also think
Right.
they didn't know how to instigate what they wanted to instigate.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where one character makes just this really stupid decision, and I'm like, that's how your action starts? Like, and then the whole thing's over really quickly.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the beats of it.
Yeah.
Like, I thought on paper, I was like, oh yeah, cool, I can see this being fun. But when we've spent an hour and a half, or whatever it is, building up to that, and then it's
Yeah.
all done in a half an hour, or what, I can't remember.
Pretty much.
I just remember thinking, "Whoa, this is jarring." Actually, similar to how I felt with Wicked for Good, Wicked 2. Is
Yeah.
that it's a really slow build, and then all the stuff just happens very quickly.
yeah.
That's funny you say that. I had a feeling, I haven't looked it up, and I don't have it here to look up, but the running time of Sinners I thought was well over 2 hours, and therefore we might have had like a solid half, and then the big turn, like in Dusk Till Dawn and those kind of films, and then it was quite a substantial back end, not just a quick half hour and then a bit of a fight scene on top of a train and it's all over. That's a metaphor.
I wish there was a train.
No. You see, yeah, interesting. And I hear you.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting that we could have such diverse views? Or what I should say is, isn't it interesting how wrong you two are? And how right I am?
I was going to make that same joke. So fun.
So yes, Sinners, I just didn't get it. I guess is what I'm saying.
I love the music as well.
The music was incredible.
and that's not
and
my
the photography.
genre. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, my biggest disappointment of the year came out at a similar time to Sinners, and that is The Brutalist. I was really looking forward to this film. I love Adrian Brody.
I'd forgotten about The Brutalist completely.
Yeah, I thought that the photography and what was being suggested in the trailer was very interesting. And I really loved the first half of that film. I thought it was really engaging, and I thought that the style of it and the tone of it was on point. I was all on board with the intermission. I wish more films would have an intermission like that. It was just so great to be able to get up, stretch my legs, get a drink, go to the bathroom, talk to my friends, and then get into the second act.
Yeah.
I thought that the character that Felicity Jones plays was insufferable. She was great.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, she was great. But like the actual character was terrible. And I thought that's not the character's fault as well. The way that she's positioned in the story is this sort of very harsh character that you struggle to understand why there's a relationship between these two characters. And I thought that there were sequences in the second act that were phenomenal. Like there's a sequence where they go to get some marble, I believe, that is just incredible.
In a quarry.
And kind of there's sort of the kind of point of the whole film is in there as well, which is I did find interesting. But I just didn't understand what, like the film ends very idiosyncratically in a way that doesn't pay off the plot lines. I felt that it thought it was more important than it actually was, and also it was an interesting film in terms of I guess politics with everything that's happening in Gaza right now, and just it felt almost like I didn't know how to engage with it in terms of its politics between Israel and Palestine. So that was an interesting wrinkle in there that I haven't really unpacked because the actual film for me didn't work as well.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
Different to Poor Things, where I loved every minute of that movie,
Yeah.
but I couldn't kind of reconcile this other piece, which we've already talked about.
Yeah, right.
So The Brutalist would go on there as my biggest disappointment because it could have been my film of the year, which is usually the films that I pick for my biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Have either of you seen The Brutalist?
Yeah.
I thought it was all right. Agree with the ending being just so strange. It was also very, very long.
I've heard as well that the architectural design is actually not brutalism.
Oh.
Yeah, it's what people think is brutalism, and it's not.
Okay, but I don't believe that Brady Corbet would have got that wrong. That will have... No, I don't. No. He knows what he's doing. Dude, he put so much work into every aspect of that film and just went to heck with the people who think it's going to be too long, it's going to be boring, it's about concrete, So no, he'd know what he's doing.
Watching concrete dry? Is it the...
No, it's actually paint. But
yes,
sure.
right. Mixed metaphors.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall I start us off with Classic Revisited?
Oh, yes.
Oh, this is exciting. We've never had this category before.
Yeah. I was going to choose a film that I watched with a friend of mine who's been on the podcast before in the middle of the year, which is All That Jazz. But I'm not. I'm going to pivot and pick a movie that I've talked to both of you about, which is Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Oh, yes, you mentioned that last time.
1975, Peter Weir film, part of the Australian cinema renaissance of the 70s. And I don't know why it was on my mind. I know that Maxie Shields, who's a Sydney or Melbourne-based drag queen, she dressed up as one of the characters on RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under, season 1. So I've kind of had this cultural artifact in my mind, but something about this year, for some reason I was drawn to watching it, and I was absolutely taken aback by how wonderful the film was. It's dreamlike, it's terrifying. It clearly, if it didn't do it actively, it definitely did it through osmosis, but clearly a huge influence to David Lynch, or at least precursor of David Lynch. I've never seen a film that's been so David Lynchy as Picnic at Hanging Rock, and in some ways kind of more successful than a lot of David Lynch stuff, because there is a real sense of purpose behind it being part, that's what the story is, and that's what the novel was doing, whereas a lot of David Lynch is just part of his style, his style of a substance. The film is interesting in that it's very, very focused. towards that picnic, and then once the girls go missing, the whole film fractures, and you just kind of get vignettes of everybody's life after the movie, which in the first watch I found quite jarring, and then I watched it again and I was like, oh, this is the language of the movie. It's kind of about that, and it has a very poignant ending that kind of wraps it all up. I bought the book on my Kindle. I'm going to read it over the summer. And it's gone into my list of favourite films of all time.
Wow.
I'm just absolutely blown away.
I'm so glad you finally watched it, Jeremy. This is like top tier Peter Weir. And the guy just, he makes such different movies. If you think about his filmography, it's like the Truman Show, Dead Poets Society, Master and Commander, like there's big, there's small, there's comedy, there's very, very intimate horror like this. And yet, he did Witness, right? Did he?
Yes,
do
I
Witness?
think of him like a Michael Winterbottom.
Right.
And people who do really cross-genre films, which is interesting, right? It makes him a master and a commander.
He's got a philosophy of the story as the guide, right? He's really all about in service of the story.
And I think, for me, and I love his work, like every single one of his movies, the key defining feature really is about his exploration of community, right? Every single one. You think about Master and Commander, and it's like it's a city on a ship, and it's about how the gears tick, and then Picnic at Hanging Rock, about this one very, very isolated, literally like isolated community, isolated incident. It's lovely stuff, and the explorations of community that he does with every single one of his films are varied and always fascinating.
I think I might go through his whole discography, I was going to say.
Oeuvre.
That's nice. Filmography. Because I watched The Last Wave recently as well. Is that what it's called? The Last Wave? The film he made after Picnic at Hanging Rock. Have you seen that one?
The Nazis one?
No. It's set in Sydney, and it is about four Indigenous Aboriginal Australians who are accused of murdering another Indigenous Australian. We actually see the murder take place, and it's a spiritual murder that one of the old elders does with a pointing bone. And the lawyer that gets called to represent them also has dreams of the end of the world, and he had dreams as a kid as well. And so it's sort of magical realism, or is it supernatural something? But it's very interesting, and I watching it now, 50 years later almost, in terms of Indigenous representation, I wasn't uncomfortable, but I definitely had questions about how this was being depicted, because I don't know enough about Indigenous Australian law. But it was interesting, and they had a big American actor playing the lead. His Australian accent was on point. I didn't notice it at all. But anyways, I'm waffling. Picnic at Hanging Rock is my pick revisited.
One thing I really like about this episode each year is that you guys come up with things that I then write down. I should watch that.
Same here.
And that's how I feel about Picnic at Hanging Rock. So thanks.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't at all.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The music, the pan flute.
Yeah.
And there's like some classical music in there.
Oh, I like classical music. Yeah, nice.
William, what's been your biggest, not your biggest disappointment, we've done that, classic revisited?
All right, so I'm going to pick two films that bookend the 80s. Now, you guys would know that all three of us have been very lucky to be on Johnny Andrews' podcast.
Yes, shout out to Johnny.
Shout out. Wonderful podcast and so much fun talking just movies, right?
Movie DNA.
Oh, sorry.
My movie DNA.
My movie DNA.
Yeah.
I apologize. And on that episode, on the episode I was on, I was talking to Johnny about kind of my upbringing and watching old stuff, old Disney movies in the 80s, including movies like Tron and The Little Mermaid. And so afterwards, I went to watch Tron and The Little Mermaid.
Nice.
Tron in 1982 and The Little Mermaid in 1989. Now, I think why I pieced these two together is because, my goodness, the 80s were a turbulent time for the Walt Disney Pictures. Like, they were just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what stuck, right? You had crazy sci-fi movies like The Black Hole. You had really, really ambitious yet horribly dark animated movies like The Black Cauldron. Everything is black in its name. And then you have Tron, which is... It's just really, really funny thinking about how it came to be, because it is, at the same time, the most corporate mandated thing possible, right? Well, what are the kids into? Video games. We're gonna make a video game movie where a guy gets sucked into a video game. And then, like, Steven Lisberger, the director, and his team that end up making the movie, yes, it's about a guy being sucked into a video game, but it's also the most art house that Disney has ever been. And I do mean ever. Watching it again in high definition via Disney Plus, this movie is beautiful. Holy macaroni. Like, I think the special effects, the rudimentary, they really, really hold up. And really, there's nothing today that looks like Tron. Not even Tron Ares, which I enjoyed. You guys know I really enjoyed Tron Ares.
I mean, Tron Ares literally looks like Tron.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
At a certain point in the film.
Yeah.
Right?
That was very, very cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tron is just, they are going places with the bravery of people who are the first pioneers doing stuff like this, right? You read about how they managed the CGI, and it was basically animating via spreadsheet, looking at vectors and then sending everything through, coming back the next day to seeing what they had created. It's nuts.
That's
Yeah, and even
it's a slice of history.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's really fascinating.
That's kind of how Toy Story was made as well, wasn't it?
with the sliders?
And they would like render overnight, and then some hilarious things would come back. You know, sort of eyeballs popping out of heads. And
Right.
You're right. I was watching a video about that just yesterday. Oh, kismet, nice. But basically, Tron, it often has the whole stigma of being a really, really pretty but boring movie. And watching it again, I don't think it's boring at all.
No.
It's a bit of a Star Wars knockoff, but then again, who isn't, right?
Yeah,
Who isn't?
yeah.
And Star Wars itself knocks so many things off as well. So it's a lot of fun. The characters are fun. Jeff Bridges is having a great time. How they imagine technology in the 80s is really, really prescient. Like, it's very cool. And just what they do with the tools available with them, it's wizardry. Like, this is Martin Scorsese going cinema, right? Awesome stuff. And then on the flip side, you have Little Mermaid, which of course kicked off Disney's huge golden age, the Disney Renaissance. And my gosh, the two movies couldn't be any more different. Little Mermaid, you could kind of see a little bit of growing pains. They kind of incorporate CGI in a way that I didn't remember being so jarring. All the ships are CGI.
Yeah.
And when they appear, you're like, whoa, like that doesn't look like it belongs in the movie. But man, otherwise you can totally see why this is the film that kind of took Walt Disney Animation, which back then was it was living off fumes from
and
Disney
they
dying.
rented out all of the studio spaces, right? They'd rented out the office spaces, and they had to be in they had to kind of create their own space in a shed or a warehouse somewhere.
It's incredible that they have just produced a masterpiece, right? The animation is so good. Ariel, like, she is the most believable teenage girl in cinema, I think. How she reacts to things, her voice, how she walks, how she's excited but a little giddy and also clumsy. Like, she feels like a real person, a real
And the music
kid.
is incredible.
Oh,
Who does
is it
her
ever?
voice? Is
Jodie
it any-
Benson.
What became of her?
She was a voice actor / singer, so
Right.
she's been doing Ariel's voice for the last 30 years.
Yeah, at events and things. But that's also Howard Ashman's one of his films, right? Before he
Yeah,
died.
that's right.
Him and
Alan Menken.
Alan Menken, their kind of partnership is of course famous. But
Gosh, some of those lyrics are crazy town, but they just work.
and Ursula is one of the greatest
Oh,
villains
but
of all time.
Pat Carroll, she
Yeah.
is so camp and just loving being the evil baddie. Like,
And
she
her lyrics, every lyric is just a work of art.
body language,
Yeah.
like, oh. The song I always forget is the Les Poissons, and there's a line where only Ashman could come up with these lyrics. Les Poissons, hee hee, ha ha ha. It's like
Only someone in the olden days.
I
would come
don't
up with
think
these
you
lyrics.
could. I don't think you could. Legally rhyme these words, but you did it anyway.
Yeah.
And so, also the other thing. I mean, everyone brings this up, but watching The Little Mermaid in the year of 2025, it's like, yeah, King Triton. He was right. Like, Ariel's just she's kind of bratty.
Yeah.
And her dad was just looking out for her, like, listen to your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tron and The Little Mermaid, I think, just awesome slices of what the Disney company was going through in the 1980s, from like really experimental stuff that doesn't quite work but is fascinating from a modern standpoint, to like a bona fide classic.
Nice, cool. Sarah, what is your classic revisited?
Well, so listeners, so I said to Jeremy, wait, are we doing the classic as in the old film that we had to watch for podcasts? And he said, no, you can use whatever you like. But I like, call me Lars von Trier, but I like...
And we do.
But I do like a little bit of the dogma, kind of like put restrictions on your endless list
I love
of
that that's
possibilities.
what you take from Lars von Trier, of all the things that he's done.
Like, isn't he? He's one of the stalwarts of the dogma movement.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
So, you know, I like limits to things, right? So, but I do have options here, people. So here's the thing. If I were to say the classics revisited, and I don't have to say much about it because A, you can go back and listen to the podcast, and B, we already know. But I thoroughly enjoyed revisiting Final Destination 1 for our podcast, and Pretty Woman, which I've seen a million times for our other podcast. What was that one? Anora, that's right. Thoroughly enjoyed revisiting both of those. And one thing I would say about both of those is they both hold up for me. They were made in the past, but actually I got more out of Pretty Woman this time than I ever have in terms of everything. I remember that having watched it before Me Too and then watching it after Me Too, watching and drawing all of the analogies with, I can't even think now, the whole knight in shining armor and
Cinderella.
Yeah.
Yes. And
My
so,
Fair Lady.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
and I had known about all those things, but there was even more to draw from Pretty Woman this time, and I will never tire of, having slagged her off for her movie off just now, I will never tire of Julia Roberts. Like, to me, she is the most incandescent film star of all time, and I love her dearly. Final Destination, as you know, because I've said it before, I love movies where danger is imminent, because that's how I live my life. And
One quarter mile at a time.
Not quite, but I like to be able to spot a safety in the home issue at 1,000 paces. So for me, Final Destination and of course Bloodlines, thoroughly enjoy both of those. I did want to say I resented very much having to watch Night of the Living Dead because I know it's a classic, and I know that we're going to lose listeners because I'm going to say something so inflammatory. But my goodness, it is almost insufferable, that film. And I know it's seminal and but I didn't like it, and I was like, but I have to watch it for podcast. Fair enough. But what you really want to know is, what film has Sarah, who says she's a cinephile and whose favourite films mostly have people like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino in them, what sort of film has she never seen in all her life but she has this year? And that's Scarface.
Ooh, I've not seen Scarface.
Okay.
So I
Me neither.
wow. So
All three, we could have done that for a podcast.
Oh my
not
gosh.
anymore.
no, well, we still can. That was, but I mean, look, it's one of the most. I mean, I say hello to my little friend.
Did you say hello?
I say that I use variations on that phrase for all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to see my nephew today and I call him my little friend, you know, and I'll be like, hey, I'm so happy to see you, my little friend.
Did you hold him up and go? Ta, 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 ta?
Yeah, pretty much. So, you know, so I finally saw it. And,
Wow.
gosh, it's violent, isn't it?
We don't know. I've seen the version with kindergartners doing it. And there's a big pile of popcorn instead of cocaine.
Oh, right.
And they say fudgin' instead of,
Well, it's very bloody. It's Brian De Palma. Now, you see, of course, he did Carlito's Way, which is one of my favourite films of all time. Also, Al Pacino.
Brian De Palma is Tarantino's favourite director.
Oh, speaking of Tarantino, right. So anyway, Scarface. So, have to be honest, didn't love it outright as much as I do Heat, Goodfellas, Casino, Godfather 2, and what did we just mention? Carlito's Way. And those films that I have watched a million times and are forever my favourites in a genre, or favourites full stop. Didn't love it as much, but my goodness, respect. It's an astonishing film. Obviously, Pacino's astonishing. And actually, one of the great joys, because what is it, 1983 or something? Oh, I guess I'm talking to the wrong people. Nobody here, no one around this table has a clue, do they? Let's see.
It's Michelle Pfeiffer, isn't it?
Michelle Pfeiffer, very young Michelle Pfeiffer. 1983, guys, you probably weren't even born.
No, what?
But it's very good, just to say. But I didn't love it unconditionally as much as I do those other films. But it's highly recommendable. Oh, no, that's what I was saying, sorry. One of the joys is watching people in it who then crop up later. You watch them, we've watched their careers develop, not just Pacino. So that was a big thing.
Nice. Cool.
Great.
All right. Well, Sarah, do you want to carry on the conversation and talk about your best television?
So we're going to pivot, guys, listeners, because these guys are obsessed with TV, and I said it's called cinema in context. It's not called What We Watch with a W-A-T-T.
This came from.
Get it?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Do you want to rename the podcast What to Watch?
No, because we did this because of COVID, right? We did it because of COVID, and we found that we didn't have enough films to talk about.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I quite like television. I've been known to dabble in a little bit of TV. Ladies and gentlemen, the best television, and that's a fact, this is not just opinion, the best television all year is The Pit. Now, who of you have seen it?
I have not.
Oh
Heard
my
really
God,
good
what
things.
am I even doing?
I was looking over someone's shoulder on the plane in the weekend, and I saw
It's not the same.
trachea being put in. That was what I saw.
Okay, OMG, The Pit. Just to give you a bit of an understanding, and please write it on your list and just bloom and watch it over the school holidays,
I
guys.
shall.
The only reason we pay you teachers to have school holidays is so you can catch up on decent television like The Pit. Okay? So The Pit, unbelievable. Backstory, obviously, produced by the people who made ER, produced by good old Noah Wiley? I'm going to say Weil.
Not Hawley.
No, it's W-Y-L-E. Produced by him. He stars in it. Gritty as. It's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in an emergency room. The thing that is so glorious about it is literally 15 hours, 15 episodes of a 15-hour shift.
Whoa. And it goes all 24?
It goes all 24.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's in real time. And it is absolutely extraordinary. The characterization is just wonderful. There are because it's a teaching ED, this is a really nice angle. Because it's a teaching hospital, when the senior doctors are getting the young doctors to explain what they're doing, that's super helpful for us as well, but it doesn't sound like... It totally works. It doesn't sound like, and now we're going to explain to the viewers what we're doing here. And one of the young cast is Bryan Cranston's daughter, whose name suddenly escapes me, but it's his real-life daughter who has autism, playing a character who has autism, and is absolutely marvellous, and she's great. And the other young people in it are amazing, and then the older people in it are amazing. And the interpersonal dynamics are realistic. It doesn't feel like a soap opera. It feels like a real-life 15-hour shift in an emergency department, and it is extraordinary. You learn ever such a lot. There are moral dilemmas. So I would go and see my physio while I was watching The Pit over the 15 eps. I'd be seeing my physio, every week, and he would say, "Where are you up to so far? Do you think that person actually did that thing?" And I'd go, "Well, we don't know yet, do we?" And he's like, "I reckon he did." And, do you know what I mean? So I just can't recommend anything more highly. It is absolutely gripping. You guys is lucky because it's all landed now, whereas we went through... I'm pretty sure there was a moment where we had to wait for the next ep. We didn't string it out. Do you know, I think for once, actually... Because we also watched Severance this year, which we'd never watched before. So we were able to knock all that off at once, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But we're very behind the 8 ball on that. Whereas The Pit, we were very, very on the finger on the pulse, if you will. Pun intended.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So please watch The Pit. Otherwise, I don't think I can be on this podcast. No, I'm serious. This is no Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is real
I don't think I can be on this podcast. This is our final episode, listeners. Thank you for being with us. Actually, next year will be 10 years.
I know.
My
In
goodness.
April.
10 years.
Keep listening, guys, till April because it'll be our 10-year anniversary. We're going to go to Vegas to film it.
Are we?
Woo-hoo.
Yeah,
Why
okay.
not?
It's actually not a bad idea.
So there you go, The Pit.
Nice. Wonderful.
William.
Okay, well, I mean, my one is probably of no surprise to anyone. It's Andor Season 2.
Oh, God.
okay.
Wasn't it Andor last year?
It was Andor in 2022. It's actually been a
right.
while since we've had some
Okay.
Andor. I mean, there's some contenders that have gone by the wayside. I know, Jeremy, you really thought The Bear came back with this recent season. I'm just going to say I don't think I'll watch The Bear anymore. It's really sad. I had such love for that show. I just don't think the show wants what I want, right?
I watched it all like Sarah just described. I watched it all in one go. Right. So nothing was as amazing. The first seasons weren't as amazing to me as perhaps they were.
For us they were great. First and second, but then after that.
I just don't think it's a show about cooking or kitchens anymore.
It's about shouting.
Well, not even about that.
All right.
It's about talking, Sarah. It's about talking. Because now everyone's in a better place and we talk about our feelings.
Oh, I didn't get to that.
And it's just like, oh gosh, this is I know last year I talked about The Bear being my biggest disappointment. I prayed that season 4 would be a comeback, and in some respects it is. But it's not the show I would like to watch anymore.
Yeah.
So
Fair
unfortunate.
enough.
And then I didn't bring this up last year because I watched a little late, but Arcane season 2 is just it's a mess. Not gonna talk about that because I loved Arcane season 1.
And because your heart is still broken.
The bee's knees. And season 2 is just it's a mess is what I'll say. But Andor season 2 is incredible. I think I'm gonna bring up 2 episodes, of other TV shows. So, The Reigns of Castamere from Game of Thrones, season 4, and Ozymandias from...
Season 4? Season 3?
I think it's in...
Reigns of Castamere? You mean the Red Wedding?
Red Wedding,
Season 3, episode 9.
Okay, oh, nice.
Season 4, episode 9 is the Battle of... Sorry, I'm a huge...
It's wonderful.
Yeah, I've rewatched it all.
And I've only ever heard of the Red Wedding. Yeah. I know what happens, but I haven't watched any other GOT at all.
Reigns of Castamere and Ozymandias from Breaking Bad.
Also, Ozymandias, isn't that in Watchmen?
Yes. Well done.
That's right. Connections.
Points. I get extra points.
Yeah.
All right.
And so those were both episodes
where Breaking Bad.
Yeah, so good. But I distinctly remember finishing both episodes. With the Reigns of Castamere, we had a watch party with my mates in Duluth, Minnesota. And we were at Carl's mum's place who had HBO Go back in the day, and we watched it live. We had a taco party. Everyone was eating their tacos, and then we weren't eating our tacos anymore.
Wow.
It was a horrible, horrible feeling. Speaking of pit, we had a pit in our stomach.
Had you read the book?
Yes.
Okay.
So we knew what was going to happen.
But they throw in some
nudge.
They throw in stuff that doesn't.
Some of that stuff is harrowing.
Yeah.
And then Ozymandias, I watched it, by myself. Again, it was live when I was in the States. And I just remember that sinking feeling of, oh my gosh, Walter White, what hast thou done? And you are now paying for it in all the ways that you would have been paying for it, that you were, trying to escape from. And so I'm going to add to that episode of Andor season 2 called Who Are You? Where the entire season is fascinating. It's building up towards a piece of Star Wars lore called the Gorman Massacre. It's always been in Star Wars lore from ages ago, but they've never fleshed it out. And so what they do here, very smartly, is they tie it into Andor in a way that both reflects modern day contemporary politics, but also, as Tony Gilroy and David, what's his brother, Dan Gilroy, love to do. They tie it into so many historical precedences as well, and so Gorman becomes Space France. So they spend a whole season building up this wonderful culture that's completely believable of these people, these Frenchmen, so to speak, maybe Space Polish, but Europeans, who are slowly becoming ground under the crushing heel of the Empire. And the Empire can be a metaphor for a number of things, a number of empires throughout history. But what we have is a real world allegory that just doesn't feel like a Star Wars show anymore. This is like, have you guys seen The Americans?
No.
Or Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, right?
Yes.
This is full-on spy drama / revolutionary text.
Right.
And it is...
Do you need to have watched Andor season 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Season 1 is it's essential.
Okay. Because my husband's been trying to make me see Andor forever. And can I just say what we'll do? He'll go, so what we could do tonight, hun, is we could watch da-da-da-da-da, or we could watch da-da-da-da-da, Andor, and I'll go, and or what? Because then he's like, oh, forget about it. So, yeah.
I think Andor is one of the greatest shows of all time. It's finished now. It's only 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But I think what Tony Gilroy has created will stand the test of time. And, beyond it being a Star Wars thing, it's obviously a great Star Wars property. But it's an angry show. It's a show about anti-establishment and anti-authoritarianism in the time when we need it most. And yet, so many other things are doing it. But I don't think they do it in the same way Andor does. People were, in the No Kings protests gosh, we live in a terrible world. There's a lot of protests happening right now, but a lot of people are kind of co-opting Andor slogans and holding up like we have friends everywhere and that kind of stuff. And it's because the show is about that, but not about that, right? And it's brave. It doesn't shy away from the fact that this is basically the Nazis, or this is basically United States circa 2020. And yet, if you read the discourse online, there's actually very little culture war nonsense around it, because it comes from a real place of heartache and of anger and of revolutionary spirit. This is like Trotsky. This is going through the French, the American revolutions all the way through now. It's incredible stuff. And when the Gorman massacre actually happens during this episode, like, you are just, the wind was knocked out of me. Everything happens not in the way you expect it to, and by the time the dust settles, like, it's the most incredible hour of television I've seen in a long time. My only problem with Andor Season 2, and why I think Season 1 is probably stronger, is the release schedule. Basically, Tony Gilroy and the star Diego Luna realized that their plan for 5 seasons of Andor was not going to work, because they would be 60-year-old, well, Luna would be 60 years old, and they would probably be working on Andor until they died. Oh, because it was such a labor of love. And so they crunched seasons 2 to 5 into season 2. And so every 3 episode block is an arc that would have been its own season.
Wow.
Which means that the season starts really shaky and some of the pacing is super off. And I was getting really worried. And then
it hits its stride.
Or the payoffs happen and you're like, oh my God, we are in good
I reckon
hands.
you might have. I think you probably had me at Space France.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think
So yeah,
I might be compelled.
Nice.
Wonderful.
I need to. I mean,
Wonderful.
I've watched the first half of season 1. So
Oh, nice.
For whatever reason, I didn't.
Have you seen The Heist yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're
I've only seen a couple
in for a
of
treat.
episodes.
In for a treat.
Cool. Well, my greatest TV of this year is actually not going to be my pick, because it's Celebrity Traitors, which is a British reality TV show.
Yes,
and
yes,
to talk about it with any detail is to ruin the joy of what that show is. So, look, if you're interested in reality TV game shows, Celebrity Traitors is such a good time.
That's what I've heard.
Oh, it's brilliant. And then I guess I was left with a huge range of very good but not brilliant seasons of shows that were sequels to other shows I've loved. So Gilded Age Season 3 was great. Severance Season 2 you mentioned.
Yes,
brilliant.
yes.
I really loved the ending of Squid Game. There are shows that I'm watching that are still happening. So the new Stranger Things season has been a whole lot of fun. And Heated Rivalry is something I'm watching. And one thing about Stranger Things I found is that I definitely am sensing the second screen viewing writing. And it's pretty disappointing. So everything else, it's very well put together, but then they have these sort of on the nose, very blatant conversations about their motivations.
Yeah.
Which is what I felt with another great show this year, Boots, a Netflix show, but again, written like that. So I'm left with a few different things. I was going to pick Pluribus, which is another show that's
we're
right in the midst of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know where it's going to go. So that, I think, will become my show of the year.
Yes.
So my number one show is one that is not actually it's not perfect. It's not the best season of this show by any means, but it is the one that everybody seemed to be watching. It's very zeitgeisty. I actually talked to people about it as we were watching it. And that is season 3 of The White Lotus.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Was that only this year?
That was this year.
Good Lord.
And I think the reason why...
I'd forgotten about it. Thank you for re-raising it.
I think the reason why it doesn't sit so confidently as my number one is because season 2 is far better.
Yeah.
The season is trying to redefine what the show does. And I think it does do that, but in a way that the kind of payoffs aren't as perhaps satisfying as
Interesting. Okay.
previous seasons.
I think that's true.
I think with the reveal of who dies, for risking of spoilering it, Mike White is he knows how to play with expectations, and whether that fully works or not is something we could debate with spoilers.
Yes.
But I can't deny the fact that there are moments in that season that literally have my mouth hanging open.
Yes.
You've got Sam Rockwell delivering one of the greatest monologues in recent history.
And the greatest bit parts as well. Like, and you know, don't you, that he goes out with, he's been dating
Leslie Bibb.
since forever.
Yeah,
and therefore,
she's in it.
So, and he was visiting in Thailand, and they were like, we'll get him in. Because it was going to be someone else in that role, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
And then, so how amazing is that? He's
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll do it. Bring your husband to work day, and
Amy
he comes
Lee-
and he kills the whole thing.
Well, I don't even think it was Bring Your Husband into Work Day, because she was over on the other island while he was in Thailand, because they never meet. He never comes to that same location as the...
Oh, good point.
And, you've got...
I'm sure they let him visit though.
Yeah,
I'm sure they said we'll fly you from Bangkok over to the island to Koh Samui or whatever to visit her. But anyway,
I thought Amy Lou Wood and Walter Goggins' performance was
Yes.
just phenomenal. She is the absolute heart of that show.
Goggins.
She's just been nominated for a Golden Globe for it. Carrie Coon, who I love,
same.
and their characters become some of the most interesting in the whole show, and they're the most uninteresting at the start.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really great, and I think he continues to make really good seasons of TV. I don't mind a slightly off season in terms of not always being the perfect thing, because it shifts my expectations. So when season 4, the France season, is coming out sometime soon, I won't come into it with the season 2 bravado of how brilliant that was.
And nobody will, because unfortunately he got so slammed for season 3. Everyone's going to approach season 4 with girded loins, and then hopefully have their expectations thingied.
I enjoyed the thesis statement of season 3, which was about faith and belief and and always about privilege and class and sort of capitalism. I thought that was an interesting piece, and I did think that the show actually paid off on that. And I like hearing about whole plot lines that were filmed and cut out because they weren't right for the story.
Like?
The sister, the one that goes to the retreat.
Yep.
She ends up having a full relationship with and losing her virginity, I guess, to the masseuse's son. Zion, but they never meet in the show. But there was a whole sequence, and they felt that just to say why is to spoil it, right? But that her storyline would detract from some of the other storylines that were going on, especially that of her father.
Yeah, right.
Right, because that I also kind of knew that certain things weren't going to happen because of what they were focusing on. I'm like, well, if they were going to do this thing, then these people would not be as concerned about these things. Anyways.
Did our friend Morgana O'Reilly have more of a role?
I don't think so. I think she was always a supporting character to that family storyline. But great to see her pop up.
It was wonderful. She was great.
And they all get paid the same amount. All the actors. I don't know whether she does this with the size of her role, but I know that all of the main cast, they get a flat fee.
Wow.
It's an equal footing. Nobody gets paid more than anyone else.
That's really good.
Yeah. And they go there and they film with one unit the whole time, which is why it takes so long to make.
And they spend
8 months.
Yeah, a long time. Months and months and months there.
And more trivia, Carrie Coon could not get a tan because she was immediately filming Gilded Age season 3. So she had to stay indoors the entire time in Thailand. All right, should we talk about best films of the year? Who would like to kick this off? I'm not going to organise that because I've made sure we kind of had equal voicing in that. But who wants to go?
I won't be long-winded with mine, so you decide.
Well, let's start with yours.
Yeah, go for it, Sarah.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
So there were a couple of things that were really clear-cut, but in terms of a long list of runners-up, not so much. And it's interesting, isn't it, when you pull your list together and you're like, really? Yeah, no, I loved that at the time, don't really care.
Yeah, it's interesting how time does that, eh? You kind of go, I haven't really thought about that for a while.
At the time I was like, whoa, 5 stars. And then I'm like, well, I wouldn't watch that again. So actually, okay, I'm being a bit long-winded. So actually, the way I look at this is I go for the ones that I gave 5 stars. And because of my job, it's very convenient for me to go back and look for those. And so I actually do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 films to which I gave 5 stars. Could be 9, maybe I've missed one. But it's interesting, there's things that I will go, well, that was great and important. For I'm Still Here, the Oscar-winning film, I put important and worthy but wouldn't watch again. So that's not therefore going to be in my top films of the year. So skipping through those and ignoring... Oh no, I'm allowed 2 runners-up.
Yeah.
No, but then I'm categorizing. It's just really hard.
We'll give you 3.
I mean, look, Frankenstein was great. It was better than I thought it was going to be in the cinema, but it isn't going to make the listener top films of the year. The House Within is a New Zealand documentary about Fiona Kidman, the author. I mean, you couldn't get anything that sounded less whatever, and it was a totally enthralling 5-star documentary that's absolutely wonderful. But again, I mean, it doesn't feel quite like a best film of the year. So let's skip straight into my 2 top films. Now, the one that would have been top, but I came out at the very beginning of the year, and that's silly, is Conclave.
Ooh,
Absolutely
heck yeah.
adored Conclave, saw it twice,
Yeah.
absolutely loved it, everything about it was completely perfect, and what a kicker of an ending. I don't even need to tell you anything about Conclave because we know what it is. Ralph Fiennes was an absolute dream, everyone in it is a dream, even Tucci is somewhat of a dream, it was wonderful. But my most excitement to see the sequel that is coming in January is 28 Years Later. And it is very unusual for me to have what might be called a genre film as my top film, because we all know that I'm very cerebral. No, it's not so much that. It's just that, I'm traditionally not really a horror person. I thought 28 Years Later, as we know because we did a podcast on it, was absolutely sensational. The points of difference for me, I mean, I think it works amazingly as a zombie movie. It works amazingly as a post-apocalyptic movie, but I love Aaron Taylor-Johnson. I thought The Kid was amazing. I thought Jodie Comer was great. I thought Ralph Fiennes was absolutely sensational, yet again. So interesting that he's in my 2 top films of the year. And moreover, I mean, quite aside from the ending, which you know that I loved because you didn't even know about Jimmy Savile and all that, and I knew immediately and was like, holy mackerel, I can't believe they've gone there.
Have you seen the trailer for the next one?
Not yet.
Oh,
I know.
amazing.
It looks so good. And there's a lot of Jimmy Savile in it.
I know, and it will be incredible. Oh yes, and so Jack Whatnot is absolutely incredible, who plays one of the Jimmys. But the fact is, it was so touching.
It's funny, because I had criticisms of that film, right, when we recorded our episode, but it's really stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I almost picked it as my biggest surprise of the year.
Yeah.
And I need to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah,
because
same.
It was
Before the next
really
one.
stuck with me.
It was so meaningful. That's the thing. It was a film about death and loss and cancer. It was a film about honouring. And that is such an unusual thing to have in
a zombie movie.
Yeah, it was incredible. And you think about those four key characters.
Yeah.
The boy, his parents, and Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
My gosh, they are well formed.
Incredibly well formed. And so, and I've seen Ralph Fiennes in the theatre in London in a relatively dry play. I want to call it Straight Line Crazy, I think it was. He was amazing. He is an absolutely captivating, in the truest sense of the word, performer. And I'm so happy for Danny Boyle that Ralph Fiennes brought that heft to a film like... Because lots of people could have done that role really well. Mm-hmm. And in the olden days, it would have been Pete Postlethwaite or someone,
Oh gosh, that is very much a Pete Postlethwaite role.
Yeah.
It was, and I just thought it was absolutely marvelous. It left you on a hell of a cliffhanger, and I'm so excited that we're not waiting another 25 years or 28 years for the sequel. So there we go. I'm going to make that my film of the year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And I guess the other thing about the sequel is it's not directed by Danny Boyle, and so
it's directed by who's the whatnot McThingamajig.
Nia DaCosta.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the Candyman remake.
Which is, and that is very, I mean, she's only done a handful of things. Isn't that an unusual, and also such a thingy of faith, act of faith and
like
trust.
similar to what I said before about White Lotus, it manages expectations because you're not expecting the next Danny Boyle film.
But they shot it at the same time, right?
I believe so. I mean,
So
Alex
he
Garland.
must-
It's so cool to see Alex Garland come back and just write.
Yeah, and Danny must have been around. I'm sure that he wouldn't have gone, all right, I'm off now, all right, Call me if you need anything, but I'm going to Thailand for 2 weeks.
Oh, look, they're filming White Lotus over there.
That's right. So that's it from me, gentlemen.
Wonderful.
Nice. William, what's your film of the year?
Yeah, well, I mean, funny you bring up 28 Years Later. That is firmly my number 3 runner-up, if I could do a number 3. It was kind of, I think, knocked off its peg is not the right way to say it. I just wanted to give some love to this next movie.
Yeah.
I actually think 28 Years Later is a way better film than my actual number 2. Which is Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Oh, William! Just as we hit highbrow.
I feel like Sonic the Hedgehog has appeared in every year.
Every single time there's been a Sonic movie, it's appeared in my honorable mentions. And this year will be no different, ladies and gents.
Are you on their payroll? Like, seriously, do you get some sort of kickback?
Well, here's the thing, right? First of all, how could you not love Jim Carrey just having fun?
I don't know,
He's been paid a lot of money just to be 90s Jim Carrey again.
Okay.
And, the kid inside me is like, oh, give him more.
Yeah.
He's having a ton of fun. He's playing 2 Jim Carreys now. He's playing Robotnik and Robotnik's granddad.
Yeah.
And so you get 2 Carreys for the price of 1.
I went to this, didn't I?
You did. You took Ezra, yeah.
I can't even remember. But I don't think I hated it.
I think why bring Sonic 3 up, to be semi-serious, is you guys have all seen The Studio, right?
Yes. Now that would have been my best TV.
I don't think I have. Oh no, The Studio. I haven't seen that.
Okay.
Oh my god! What are you doing?
It's fun. It's heaps of fun.
That's more important for this podcast that you watch The Studio than that you watch the pitch.
I mean, the irony that you forgot about it. Until
But we knew this would happen. Oh my god, The Studio was amazing. But the pit was like different. You should, Jeremy, you've got to watch The Studio.
Right,
it's about
okay.
movies.
Okay.
Uncle Marty's in it.
He is in this, yes, and Uncle Marty's really
Brother
sad.
Seth
He's
is
really
in
sad
it.
in it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing about The Studio is, it says some things about how movies are made in Hollywood, which are
It says a lot of things.
pretty trenchant, and in a way that I think doesn't kind of, cast the producers of Hollywood as morons. They may look like morons, but they're actually not. Right?
Yeah.
And I think with movies like the Sonic franchise, it is extraordinary, and I genuinely mean this, to think about what must go on behind the scenes to produce these movies, for these movies to actually be good, right? And for these movies to, I guess, invoke something that's meaningful. Now, I'm a lifelong Sonic fan, and I told you guys this before. I don't know if you recall, but there was one movie this year that I cried during the screening of the movie, and that was Sonic the Hedgehog 3. It's because there is a musical cue at the end where it's all hard rock, and you see Sonic and Shadow finally team up and fight robots. And they do something crazy, which is they take the climax and the main theme of the Dreamcast game Sonic Adventure 2, and they just inject a Hollywood budget into it and turn it into this love letter to this game from 2002. And me sitting in the seat, I was just like, I can't believe what I'm watching. Like, this was made for me. And Sonic and Shadow were trashing robots, and one single tear rolled down my face. And you watch, reactions from the fan screenings, and I'm not a huge fan of people bring cameras to cinemas, and this is what the fans are doing.
Yeah.
But the fans go nuts.
This wasn't the popcorn thing, was it?
No.
No, that was Minecraft.
That was, the chicken jockey. But fans are like screaming and crying and cheering. It's like, if you could get this out of a studio system movie about video game characters interacting with friggin' James Marsden, and like that, this is a miracle. I'm just so happy that they managed to finagle their way around making a kids movie. And you hear the behind the scenes. It sounds like a nightmare. There's apparently a producer on this movie that just loves it when characters dance, and this makes a lot of sense to me. No wonder so many characters dance in kids' movies, because apparently there's this one guy in Hollywood who's like, it's hilarious.
More dancing.
It's hilarious. Just make them dance.
Oh god.
And so to make something even, borderline meaningful from these people in charge, is extraordinary. So Sonic the Hedgehog 3. is my
Great.
pick over
Can I-
28 years later.
Can we just highlight as well the transcendental spiritual moment that William describes about a musical cue that connects time and different video games being paired with slamming a similar moment in Sinners.
Yeah. How dare you?
Only one of these movies features two animated hedgehogs.
Yeah.
One of them voiced by Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And played by Michael B. Jordan.
So what's your film of the year?
My second runner-up. I mean, throughout the year, we've watched many movies this year when I've said to you guys, I think this is my film of the year. And one of these movies happened in January, and it's Anora.
Okay.
I really, really, really love Anora. I
Yeah.
think this is Sean Baker's masterpiece. Did I say masterpiece? I meant masterpiece. I
Yeah.
was thinking of Jim Carrey again.
Yeah.
We've mentioned in our episode how just complete this movie feels, and I remember you saying that when the goons appear and the movie shifts focus to them, and you kind of sat up in your seat, like that jolt of energy, I will never forget. So what a film, and so happy it won the Best Picture for the Academy Awards. Fully deserved. And so for my film of the year, so I'm going to preface this by having a little analogy that I like to call the hamburger versus steak analogy. So everyone loves a beautiful steak prepared in a Michelin star restaurant, right? Flame broiled, medium rare, oozing with flavor, kind of like what Joey Pants eats in The Matrix, that perfect steak. But at the same time, if a hamburger is prepared really, really well, it's fast food, it's pop culture, it's meaningless, and yet I don't think you can beat a good burger. I think that was what the film The Menu was talking about, right?
I was still thinking of The Menu.
Yeah. And so my film of the year is, of course, the hamburger in this analogy. It's the only film that we've talked about today that has registered trademark in the title itself. It is, of course, F1 registered trademark, the movie.
Wow.
This movie rules, you guys. I know, Sarah, you have mixed feelings on it.
No. I the first time I was like, oh, and then the second time when I took my mum, I was like, yeah, it's a good movie.
Hey,
Yeah.
hooray.
Because by then I was like, okay, I know that this is going to be try hard, so I'll just enjoy the bits that aren't. Yeah.
This movie it's everything you would imagine a sports movie about F1 starring Brad Pitt to be. It has all the cliches. It has the commentator say things like, they spent 7 minutes in the pit stop. That's twice the usual time cars would take.
7 seconds.
7
7 minutes? If you spend 7 minutes, you shouldn't be on the grid. Anyway.
7 seconds. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It goes to show what
You
I
can
know
tell that
about
I'm
F1.
an F1.
And so I am not, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea what the sport is.
Well, it's cars.
They kind of drive real fast. Mm-hmm. But for me, a newbie, this was the perfect entry point. And I think, it's directed by Joseph Kosinski, which we've loved his Top Gun Mavericks and his Tron Legacies. The guy knows how to shoot things going fast in a really, really clean, exciting way. And just how they portray the view from the cockpit of one of these races is extraordinary, and you feel like you're there. That's a silly little thing, but you feel like you are in the cockpit, right? And yes, as I was saying, it has a lot of sports movie cliches, but it does so in a way that reminds you why they were cliches in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it's really satisfying.
Fair point.
And, Brad Pitt, he plays the grizzled oldie, and he's bringing up Damson Idris, the new hotshot rookie, and will they kind of work together as a team? Will Brad Pitt take all the glory, or will he let the rookie, win his first F1 championship? Or Kerry Condon is in there, is kind of like the no holds barred, tough cookie, female, tech engineer with heart of gold. It's all really by the numbers stuff, but all executed in a way that is extremely exciting, extremely crowd pleasing, and I loved every second of it. I remember cheering basically when the final race finishes. And I watched it again last week to make sure that this was my movie of the year, and I think it really, really holds up. So that is my film of the year, F1 registered trademark, the movie.
Hans Zimmer, right?
Hans-
And he's just been nominated for Best Score.
Hans Zimmer's score
Bloodlines.
is
it's so good.
So good.
Yeah,
So
I
good.
listen to it when I drive,
Yeah.
which isn't actually very good, particularly when you're in the 80-kilometer part of the motorway. But
Or the 110 kilometers.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
best bit about the score is the quiet bits where it's like, and it's like, oh heck, stuff is going down. Yeah, so good.
Nice. Well,
Tell us about your best film, Jeremy.
Well, I mean, my runner-up, my second runner-up is Final Destination: Bloodlines, and I do think it's the movie that I'll rewatch the most from this year. But I couldn't justify giving it my film of the year after rewatching it. I love the hamburger analogy. I'm also not a huge fan of steak, so
Okay.
I'll take a burger over a steak any day. I loved In Order. That's my runner-up of the year. It's the one film that really just had me sitting up in my chair. But I think similar for the Conclave thing, right? It feels so far in the
does.
past, and also In Other Territories came out last year.
Yeah.
So, I struggled to give it to that. But I think my number one movie is one we have done on this podcast, and it's One Battle After Another.
Oh, heck yeah.
yes.
Not to say I don't have criticisms, we talked about them in the episode, but what that film does is so much fun. And to describe what that story is about is to sort of ruin some of the surprises, right? So another great performance from Leonardo DiCaprio, another great
Has
film.
he been nominated for anything?
That's a good question.
Golden
I know the
Globe
film.
person?
Yeah, I think so. I think the film's got 11 nominations.
Has
It's
it?
one of the top nominated films.
Yep.
And Paul Thomas Anderson's got Best Director,
Yep.
and the big conversation is I think it's been nominated under Best Comedy rather than Best
Yeah.
Drama,
Yep.
which is always a bit egregious sometimes what's been put where. But comedy makes sense to me because
Yeah.
it is a funny
It's a funny
film.
movie.
It's not as ridiculous as sometimes when they. What was the one? Yeah. Anyway, there was something that they.
The bear.
Yeah, when they put the bear under best comedy.
Most of the characters are giving pretty explicitly comedic performances, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I loved the mashing of different reference points. The film has one of the greatest climaxes I've seen in a long time, and that we talked about on the episode, how that
the
car
rolling hills.
chase sort of wraps up.
Yep.
And at the core of it is just this really lovely relationship between a father and daughter that feels real. And he's not this perfect dad, and
Yeah.
she's not even a perfect daughter. So
And it's also not too. I mean, I watched a terrible film the other day with Woody Harrelson as a not the perfect dad, and he's absolutely terrible in it, and you can see why he's a terrible dad. So actually, there's so much credence, if that's the word, to that relationship. It doesn't feel like a caricature of, oh, he's smoking weed and wearing a bathrobe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It somehow really works.
It's
doesn't it?
cartoonish and yet believable.
And I think that comes down to just really talented creatives working together collaboratively. He came up with the bathrobe idea.
Leo did. Yeah.
And he wears it for most of the film. It's
So
very
Chase
cool.
Infinity has been nominated for Best Female Actor.
Oh, very nice.
So, and that will be a big deal for her because
Yep.
obviously she's a new,
And Sean Penn's been nominated.
and Leo has.
Leo has. The mother has. What's her name?
Yep. Perfidia,
Perfidia
who's the
Desdemona.
whatnot.
And there's been another actor's been. Benicio del Toro's been nominated as well.
yeah.
So a lot of nominations. All right, well, thank you for listening to another episode of Cinema in Context. If you enjoy our podcast, then please share it with your film-loving friends. You can listen to Cinema in Context on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and where all great podcasts can be found. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, which are great places to let us know what you think of this episode, as well as give us suggestions for future films to discuss and compare. Look out for our next episode in a month's time, which will be the new year. And until then, no hora mai.